Yo, what's good? What's happening, meatheads? Hope you're having an amazing day, and welcome to another episode of the Meathead on the Mic podcast. It's the returning champ, your boy, IFBB Pro, Butale, and today we're coming at you with another topic with a special guest. And today we'll be breaking down Shaun Fury and his mysterious, we'll say, introduction to what I call real bodybuilding, what he would agree is real bodybuilding. No shade to the not real bodybuilders, and you're going to understand what we're talking about in just a bit. So, if you guys don't know who Shaun Fury is, he's a good friend of mine based out in Hollywood, basically, California, and he is an up and coming director working and building something super massive for the supernaturals that most of you guys probably don't know about. It's called the Natty King Project, and it's an art project. Just to summarize it, if you like art in the form of media, in the form of movies, in the form of anime, in the form of literally art, this is something to pay attention to. He's the guy to watch, and he's a very creative mind with a very, very hard work ethic. And today he did something, or at least this week he did something that surprised most of us, given that none of us saw it coming. He stayed really, really quiet about it. I didn't even know about it. That's really why we're on the air now, because I'm like, we got to talk about it. So if you guys don't know, Shaun Fury, welcome aboard. He's well decorated. He's got a physique to match his mind. Shaun Fury, guys.
Wow. What a intro. Thank you so much for that. Can I
No mention.
can I just quickly say that without really identifying favoritism, you're like my favorite, you know? Which is kind of
I'm
like
flattered, dog. I'm flattered, dog. I'm
no,
flattered.
I really mean that. I think I haven't met a person within the natural bodybuilding circuit that gets it in the way that you get it. And I really genuinely mean that. Like, you've got the physique, you've got the mind, you've got the vision, you've got the perception. You can understand, like you can grasp. Like, just the fact that you're able to like articulate the introduction that you just did says to me that you get it. So, words aren't enough.
Hey, man. That's when I'm on your show. You're on my show today. Today we glaze you. Pause. All right. So I appreciate you. Much love. But we're going to be breaking it down. So, guys, what we want to do today in this episode, what I really want to do, my intention here is to open up the Pandora's box and talk about the divisions of bodybuilding and what we truly, like inside the community, view truly competitive. And this might sound insulting or a little bit degrading to the guys that don't compete in bodybuilding or classic physique, but I assure you that's not our intention. The intention is to really draw the line in the sand and really expose what the difficulty level is in terms of going from men's physique and competing in classic physique or bodybuilding. I myself have never competed in men's physique. Shaun has in the past, and I mean that's all he ever did. Really, we never knew a Shaun that didn't have board shorts on. So going from having board shorts and going to being on stage is something else. I think personally, it makes me scratch my head, especially in natural bodybuilding, because it's like, of course, they have different sets of criteria, but how could you have a guy be successful in men's physique and also be successful in classic physique or in bodybuilding? It would mean that to a degree, the criteria does lap over or overlap in natural bodybuilding. But I don't think that's the case because I know that there's been so much time in between men's physique for you and then now like getting on stage. So there's room for development, meaning that the criteria wouldn't be the same. But I still want to know there's has to be some sort of mental bridge to gap going from men's physique to bodybuilding to classic. And Shaun, what was that for you?
Yeah, man. Oh, great question, man. So, first off, I did two bodybuilding shows this past weekend, and I'm really grateful that I did two like back to back. First one was on Saturday at the Cal State Pro in Anaheim. That was NPC, and then I did another show on Monday, which was Memorial Day, and that was just Muscle Beach out in the sun. Kind of my style. Like I'm like a sun guy anyway. But the transition from doing men's physique back in 2024 over to full open bodybuilding this past weekend, it's monumental for me, not only just for my physique, but also for like the mental switch. And I'll just be completely honest, for me, all the because I can talk a lot, and I can say this and that on social media, how I'm like going to end up going down in history as the greatest natural bodybuilder of all time, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I can believe that. I can say it with my whole chest and like not feel weird about it. But until I actually see the product on stage, and men's physique, I wasn't able to see the product. I saw something. I saw like, oh, I see a shape. But I don't see the full picture, right? So being able to step on stage twice this past weekend, now I'm getting a better view of like what I'm actually working with, how the physique actually translates on stage with the glaze and the tanning, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, on all the lights. So now I have a better understanding as to what I'm actually working with and what the trajectory is actually going to look like in order to get that title of greatest of all time. And I was not able to create that perception or that vision in men's physique. Instead, it was just like estimating, hypothetical, if that answers your question.
It answers it perfectly. And actually, to add to that, locker room chat amongst all of us that have been selected for this cast of the Natty King, there's always the certain few people scratching their heads saying, "Well, yeah, Natty King. What does that mean? Well, it would be the best natural bodybuilder. At least that's one of the characteristics." And so when we think about bodybuilding, when we think about natural bodybuilding, we often think about the trunks. You got to see the wheels. You got to see the legs. Like, what is a bodybuilder without legs? It's the men's physique guy. And how dare the men's physique guy ever even open his mouth and say he has the idea to want to dream about being the Natty King? And so it just so happens to be as funny for you. It's ironic because you are the not only the engine. I mean, it was this whole idea was conceived in your head, right? So we can't really challenge that. It's Shaun's idea, right? However, he's also contending. And that there made everybody else scratch their head because out of everybody else that's been selected, I don't think there is a men's physique guy.
Of course not.
And so you see the irony? It's like the only guy that we could ever chirp about not being fit for it because we don't see his legs is the guy who created it, so everyone has to shut the fuck up. So it's like, no, I'm not. And and that was one thing. And then there's the other thing where it's like the perception of bodybuilding, and this is a big fat one I want to get into. Actually, shout out to my boys there. They know who they are. And again, I knew that I was going to be taking on the air here today to be bringing this to you because, man to man, this is just how we do shit. I'd rather talk to you in your face.
Sure.
Talk about whatever it is behind your back, right? Mm-hmm. So the word on the street is like the opinion of the natural bodybuilder, or you being the natural bodybuilder, your opinion towards the open bodybuilders. And I know that you and we've spoken for fucking hours on your show regarding your opinion on the bodybuilders who take gear, and just to paraphrase, and correct me, jump in if your opinions have changed.
It has been updated.
Hey?
My opinion has been updated.
And we're going to talk about that, but I'm going to still jump in with your quotes, paraphrasing, all right? You're a loser if you've taken gear, or I think that you're whack, or whatever it is. And you shouldn't have done. You see, you're laughing now and now you are more in line with what I was thinking about back then. I'm like, how you can't talk down Chris Bumstead, you can't talk down Arnold, you can't talk down. I mean, I understand why. You can be as passionate as you want for natural bodybuilding, but it is bodybuilding. It's like women's bodybuilding. I would say, right? So think about it this way: women's bodybuilding is cool. I would watch women's bodybuilding, but I don't call women's bodybuilding bodybuilding, in the sense of. It was bodybuilding first, and then they decided to involve women. It was bodybuilding first, and then they decided to, I don't want to say involve naturals, because natural bodybuilding what do you mean? Like,
it's older.
Compounds, it was natural, but it was never called, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The culture of it has just been bodybuilding, right? So when I look at it like that, I don't categorize it in a separate category in the sense of, like, the guys that take gear are bad and the guys that don't are good.
Sure.
Because the guys that are bad, quote unquote, made the thing, the room. There's no space without that. And when I say made it, I don't mean invented, because again, I do believe bodybuilding started off naturally.
Yeah.
But what bodybuilding became, what landed on our eyes, what made us so fucking interested in it until we found out that they were taking gear, was the fact that they looked so impressive. They looked so amazing. Yeah. They had the Frank Zane we even look at, right? Yeah. We're like, wow, look at this Frank Zane, the aesthetics. Like, it's not Mass Monster era. It's not, we'll say the peak of the golden era.
Sure.
But it's something beautiful and it's something aesthetic, but it's also not natural.
Yeah.
He was not natural. And you'll see a lot of people all over the net, they go, I don't want to look like the Ronnie Coleman. I don't want the bubble guy. And like, absolutely, like, bro, I'm with you. I want to look like Frank Zane. I want to look like, and I don't want to take steroids, and steroids are bad because look at Ronnie, look at Frank, bro. Frank was on steroids. So it's like when you really nail, put the nail in the coffin, it's demoralizing to the entire sport to highlight natural bodybuilding to the degree where you're putting other athletes down, or at least not giving them as much merit. And I do see the moral implication behind that. Like, your intention is not to make it look bad, but it's to say that it's so much better to be natural because it looks so much better. You're gonna be healthier. Ultimately, it's more yours than anything else. It doesn't belong to a compound. And now here's where things get really sticky because I know your opinions have changed. I'm still going to give you the opportunity to express to us, your opinions, but I also want to dive in and ask you, those two shows that you did, Shaun, were they tested or not?
They were untested.
Untested,
Yeah.
not natural shows, open
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah.
And so I want to know how the Shaun that we spoke to, we'll say a couple months back, went from your statement to, I guess, not caring so much to actually going to an open show as a natural. Like, what changed? Share your opinion. I want to know what happened.
Absolutely. Okay. So I understand that I come off a bit harsh and aggressive with how I talk about things that I'm passionate about. I do truly believe that the concept of giving credit to external compounds for successful results is bonkers to me. It's just bonkers. Like, I don't like, psychologically, I would never want to go, "Oh, how'd you get those muscles?" "Oh, I took some steroids. I took a needle, stuck it in my butt and got bigger muscles, and if you do it too, you'll get bigger muscles too." "Oh, let me go do that." Like, that is bonkers to me. That being said, you asked me what's changed. When I was at check-ins at Cal State on Saturday, and I looked around the room and I saw all these athletes, I figured I was probably one of not the few, if the only natural athlete competing at Cal State Pro. And they all looked like humans to me. I'm a natural, and all these other athletes looked just like humans. Especially when we started like stripping down and we started stepping in on, like, we got our weigh-ins and our height measurements and stuff like that, and they just looked like humans. They didn't look like, "Oh, that person's enhanced, that person's enhanced, that person." They look like regular people, you know? And there's another common denominator. We all care about bodybuilding. And from that perspective, I was like, yo, you're coming off like an asshole to these enthusiastic individuals who fell in love with the same craft and sport that you fell in love with.
Who also sacrifice more, technically speaking. They put their life. I'm not gonna say like is we got to be objective here, and I stand with you. When you roll your eyes, I know what you mean, but objectively speaking, our life is less on the line than theirs. So there's a more of some sort of like moral sacrifice there. But yeah, continue.
Yeah, well, yeah, there. I guess there is more of a moral sacrifice, and I also understand that. So, to that note, and you mentioned Frank Zane, and you mentioned Ronnie Coleman, and at the beginning of this, you used the phrase, which I can't wait for it to be canonized. It's being canonized right now, but like the phrase of supernaturals, right? So during the Bronze era and the Silver era, before steroids were even introduced into the sport, before they were even like invented, the physiques were not comparable to you and I.
No,
Like,
no.
the top natty physique during the Silver era did not look like Shaun Fury or Matt Butale. And that's why it is important to use phrases like the supernatural and the Natty King in order to properly identify what a top level elite natty physique looks like in 2026. That's why phrases like these have to be used. And I'm so grateful that we've gotten to this point where we can actually display genetic superiority without the use of performance enhancing drugs so that the rest of the world gets an understanding. Oh, there's levels to this. And steroids are not a part of this equation. And to that point, I understand that a person might fall in love with the sport and craft of bodybuilding and be incentivized to take steroids in order to kind of emulate their heroes. But the heroes of the past were also incentivized to take steroids.
Yeah.
And so they're just literally following in the same footsteps. There are no footsteps of a Natty King or a supernatural to follow in until us.
Not just yet. And the thing is, other federations have been successful, I think, in doing their best, at least, to make it known that natural bodybuilding is not only on the rise, but it exists. You know, it's been around for like, we'll say, on the better half of like 2 decades. But what I think really, because
Longer,
again,
yeah,
even longer,
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
But the real wave of interest that I'm seeing amongst the youth, and youth being like not really teenagers, I'm saying like, you know, we'll say intermediate to advanced level lifters that we would consider having the potential to be supernatural, ages 20 to about 23. What I'm seeing is like those guys are now doing their first competitions. And the first competitions that they're deciding to do are natural shows, not any kind of natural show. And like, shout out to all the federations. Like, you've done great work, but I think the IFBB is coming to take over because everybody wants a legit pro card. Like, I think you agree. I mean, the events you did are NPC, correct?
I did NPC, yeah.
NPC, right? And I know they're open, and you know that's not the point. The point is like that's a part of the family of the IFBB. Like in Canada, here we've got the equivalent, which is the CPA, and so like they do have their own natural shows that lead to the Natural IFBB Pro stream. And I'm seeing a lot of guys between age 20 to 23 who are competing for the very first time, putting themselves in that position for the IFBB Pro card. Now, I'm not saying nobody else is competing anywhere else, but what I am saying is the guys that are doing those shows in the NPC, in the CPA that are natural, are I think what you would agree, you and I would agree, are more in line with being supernatural than you'd see across any other federation, minus the outliers, Baba, Oscar, right? And even Oscar, you know, he's just done his NPC show, right? So I truly believe that we can look at natural bodybuilding, right?
Mm-hmm.
Natural bodybuilding is, you know, WNBF, and again, no shade at
OCB,
all,
yeah,
like
yeah.
OCB, and
INBA.
they even OCB, like the Yorton guys are freaking sick. They look amazing, right?
Magnum. Shout out Magnum.
Magnum, shout out to him, right? And again, that's the cream of the crop. But I'm noticing like the average for the IFBB Natural Pro Stream or Natural NPC Natural CPA, like the average, the baseline is amongst the supernaturals of OCB,
Yeah.
WNBF, and these are
Hmm.
like their first run. You know,
Yeah.
they haven't been competing for as long as the seasoned vets and the other the
Right.
federations have been competing.
Yeah.
And so I think like truly, and of course I have a bias, but I truly believe, and I'm a part of the demographic too. At 23, I got my pro card naturally.
Hmm.
That the supernaturals are going to come from the Natural IFBB Pro Stream, like a large, the biggest portion of them.
Yeah, I can
Would
see
you
that.
agree or disagree with that? And what is your thought on the other federations in comparison to the Natural IFBB?
Yes, absolutely. Great question. I think you're right. From my observation, just from what I'm seeing on online, Instagram, and stuff like that, is that there does seem to be a better quality of natural physique being displayed at these shows through NPC and IFBB than the current natural federations such as INBA, OCB, and WMBF. That being said, that being said, I am not throwing my allegiance with NPC IFBB. Personally, and this is just, again, my personal opinion,
Okay.
a federation is a federation. It's an institution. I don't really put a lot of stock in any institution. To me, it's equivalent to, again, my background is acting. So when I first got to LA and I was doing background work, everyone wanted a SAG card. I want to be SAG eligible. And then when I'm SAG eligible, I'm going to get a SAG card. And then when you get your SAG card, you get to skip to the front of the line when it's lunchtime. And you're on set and you're doing like a TV show or a movie. And hey, I got my SAG card. I get to go first in line. So back up, you no name, non equity background actor. I'm a SAG actor. You're still doing background work, you know?
Yeah.
So from my perspective, and it's always been like this, I don't give a damn about a SAG card. I don't give a damn about a pro card or whatever federation I'm competing at. My goal is a great physique. I
Okay.
don't care what you give me as a result of having a great physique. My physique is aiming to be equivalent to a Matt Butale or a Demain Dawson or whoever else in whatever federation my physique is being compared against. Wherever I step on stage, I'm stepping on stage with Shaun Fury's physique. And if you want to give me a pro card, if you want to give me an overall, that's completely up to the judges. I could care less what the judges arrive at so far as what they think about my physique, because as long as I feel very satisfied with what I'm bringing, you guys do whatever you want. Give me a pro card. Don't give me a pro
Is
card. I
that
could
the
give a pro.
attitude of a king? Truthfully, because when I say that, I'm not trying to patronize you. I'm
Sure.
genuinely trying to dig in because absolutely there is like some sovereignty. There's a lot of sovereignty in that. Like you've got to be so certain in yourself to have that thought before you get on the stage. and you're not doing it for the reward. Otherwise, we'd all be clapping over $5 trophies. That's not what we're doing here,
Mhm.
right? We are getting rewarded with not just having the best physique that we think we have, because we're fucking biased to that.
Yeah.
They show us, the judges show us, they reveal to us that, hey, we all collectively agree that you are the best.
Mhm.
That's what the king is. I think I'm the king now today. It doesn't mean fuck all. I think I'm the king right now. That doesn't mean anything. You have to agree with me. For you to agree with me means my physique speaks loud enough for you to agree with me. And if that's not the concept, what is? What is a king?
I think you're 100% on the money, and I think that's personally still being developed because it's like honestly, from my perspective, it really has never been about the judges for me. It's always been about can we get other people to buy into whoever ends up getting crowned. And if judges are helping with this buy-in, then
They are.
fantastic. Of course, they
I
have to.
proxy. Yeah.
Yeah, they have to. Like, we need their assistance. But more so, could you imagine the entire natural bodybuilding community rallying behind one individual, one athlete, and saying, this guy's the best?
Mm.
Is that something that we can conceive of?
Absolutely, and it comes with the assistance of the reward system. And this is how I'd break it down to you. Look at and again, if we both agree, which I know we do, that the natural IFBB Pro stream is, again, it's very fresh, has the potential for the highest potential of supernaturals, then we can agree that the most difficult show that we filter out all the supernaturals to achieve this pinnacle of excellence within natural bodybuilding, i.e. the Ben Weeder, that guy would be the guy you're talking about.
Yeah.
Would it not
Yeah.
be?
No, I mean, from that perspective, yes. The only reason I'm not super enthusiastic about that is because personally, I don't really like how NPC IFBB has kind of monopolized all the best physiques. Like, I'm like an underdog kind of guy, you know? So it's like rallying support to the Ben Weeders and having that be like the flagship thing.
It's not an opinion. The matter of fact is that it lines up with what you said, the best fucking physique, and it's not my opinion. We
Yeah.
all collectively agree. But
Mhm.
continue. My bad.
No, you're right. And also, again, when it comes to the argument, like let's take a look at who won. We can just go with classic because nobody even knows the name of the guy who won open in Ben Weeders last year, which is also kind of interesting if you think
Open
about.
bodybuilding.
Hmm.
I know that he's an Asian dude. I'm
What's his
guilty,
name?
but I like his physique. It starts with
Yeah,
an
what's
L.
his
It
name?
starts with an L. I know that.
Okay,
It starts
starts
with
with
an
an
L.
L.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Yeah. But that's kind of my
Hey,
point.
I'm one of those guys, man. That fucking thing's right there. Nobody really cared when I won mine because I didn't
I
get
get it,
crowned.
man. I get it. And that's something else to like take note of. Like, why is it that the classic physique division of natural bodybuilding over in IFBB seems to be a bit more promoted, seems to be a bit more
It's very
publicized?
obvious. I can explain if you'd like.
Yeah, please.
Well, it's the only flaw. I would even call it a flaw. It's just like, where do you put the best guy ever in the IFBB, right? Natural guy. The natural guys, well, all the best guys, natural or not, make it to the Olympia. You're the best at the show. You qualify for the big show, which is the Olympia. You win the big show. You're the overall best ever all the time. History, Arnold, Ronnie, that's you. The natural guys, once you reach the pinnacle, the mountain in natural bodybuilding, natural IFBB, you earn your ticket to go to the Olympia, right? So even our biggest show isn't really the end of it all. It's how many people can you actually, if you really think about it, how many people can you beat that are on gear that are at the Olympia? Like that's really, if you really wanted to like look at the analytics and say he's objectively better than the last guy who won Ben Weeders because he plays better at the Olympia than the last guy, right? That would be the measuring stick. Now here's the thing: you are becoming the best of the naturals to get out of your own house and go into no man's land in the open world. And this is not just like an open show. This is not just like an open amateur show. It's not an open pro show. This is the fucking Olympia. You know what I'm saying? So you get there and expect to get washed because, come on, you know what I mean? That's the thing here. You get to the Open Olympia, and it's in accordance with your division. Now, tell me what business 174.25 pounds of Matt Butale in 2024 has on the stage with 300 pounds of Samson Dauda in open body. It doesn't make sense. It's not even like, it's disrespectful to the open guys that won their pro shows to get to the Olympia, and it's just humiliating. It's a fucking participation trophy times a billion for the natural guy to go into the open stage there and utterly humiliate himself. And I'm not saying that that's not going to happen in Classic. but I'm gonna say that the margin of error for that in classic is far less. You have weight caps, you know, and if you were that much of a natural phenomenon that, like, you know, let's say like whatever it is, like you're close to your cap for classic physique, you're a natural guy, you go there and the other guys are close to their cap or under their cap, even though they're open, like you fit a lot better than on the stage with the open guys where you clearly look natural. So I think it's just a really it's a display thing. It's you know with 10,000% accuracy that the guy who wins the Ben Weider Open natural bodybuilding is going for either last place or last place. Whereas in classic physique, I'm not going to say that, you know, there's a chance you can beat the guys, but it's a far greater chance. If bodybuilding is 0.000, classic is 0.1%.
Yeah.
And that's just me being like super strict about that, like being
Mhm.
like mean, right?
Mhm.
But I'm pretty sure there are some natural guys that have gone to the Olympia since the inception of Ben
Of
Weider
course.
and have
Yeah.
at least beat one person that was like not natural. And like
Yeah.
that's what I would count on my hand. It's like all the guys. So you look at all the bests, right? The guys that win the classic physique of the Olympia or classic physique of the Ben Weider, right? Out of all the champions, let's say started from what 2019. So 2019, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 6 guys or 6 entries, and out of all those entries or athletes, how did they do at the Olympia relative to their lineup? And then you're going to see one guy place dead last. One guy beat 3 guys. One guy beat 2 guys. And the guy who beats the most guys at the Olympia naturally is what I would think is the best. Not just,
Mhm.
you know, getting you into that door is winning the Ben Weeders, which is
Mhm.
such an achievement. But once you can go to the Open Olympia and really do boxing with guys that are open, you know,
Yeah.
take a couple names out, I think that guy climbs up on those ranks. But what do you think?
I think that was very well articulated, and it does make a lot of sense when you put it like that. So far as why the open athlete does not get an invitation to the Mr. Olympia, and why the classic physique winner does. It makes perfect sense. That being said, and again, this is why I'm not like overly enthusiastic with NPC IFBB because it still feels like, and I understand that this is their federation, so the Mr. Olympia is their flagship promotion. Like that's their flagship event of the year.
Yeah.
And of course, if you're an IFBB pro, your dream and your goal is to wind up on the Olympia stage, regardless if you're getting last place or if you're beating like a couple of athletes. To
Hey,
me, it just like as an ambitious individual with something of an ego, it's just impossible for me to get excited about that. It's like, oh, I'm gonna get to the Olympia, someone else's stage. I'm gonna get on someone else's stage and compete against these other guys who are taking steroids and they take the sport more seriously than me and they're sacrificing more than I am. But I'm gonna like it's. I just don't get excited about it. It doesn't. It
so then
doesn't.
what is the Cali Pro? Then what was, you know,
A friend asked me to join him on stage.
so you didn't want to do it?
It's not that I didn't want to do it. It's not that I didn't want to do it. I'm gonna have a competitive.
Let's talk about it. What's going on, buddy?
So I wasn't enthusiastic about this event this past weekend, but I'm really glad that I did it. I'm really glad that I did it. But like my goal is to, I just want to compete whenever I want, and I understand like I'm more attached to a prime physique than a peak physique, if that makes sense.
Okay, now I understand that.
Yeah, yeah. And over the course of my career, my intention is to reveal what the greatest of all times physique looks like at some point.
Yeah.
Between now and then, everyone else is just along for the journey. Whatever stage I step on, that's Shaun Fury showing up, representing himself. Has he reached his prime yet? Maybe he has, maybe he hasn't. You'll know.
And so why don't we plug that into the Olympia mindset? What makes it so? Matter of fact, yeah, no. First of all, what makes it so different? Seriously, because if we can plug that into the Olympia mindset, that's the same thing on the highest threshold. No.
Yeah, but I
Oh, this guy.
there's just so much negativity. I mean, at least for me, there's so much like controversy and negativity around the Mr. I don't like the politics involved. I don't like the fact that like I don't know, like there's stories of Jim Mannion selecting the winners of like top shows before the athletes even walk on stage. You got the 1980 where like Arnold really shouldn't have won. You've got the 1981 where Franco Colombo shouldn't have won. You got Dorian Yates winning when like he really shouldn't have. It just feels tainted to me. It feels impure, and I don't see the idea of like why would I attach myself to something that's just like it's not it's not a pure expression of like this is the odds are not fair. Like this is not it's not like perfect people doing the perfect thing, you know? It's more so subjective, political, and there's like things happening behind the scenes that are working against you so that they're picking the person that they think is best that will represent IFBB and like their stuff better, you know? And like all of it is just like I don't know. Yeah, if that makes sense.
It does and doesn't, and I'll tell you why. Number one, like those are true events. I believe. Like I know for a fact the Arnold. Everybody knows about the Arnold screw job. Everybody knows about the Franco screw job. It was devastating what Dorian was able to get away with. Um, but I also like nowadays at least because it's and they made it. Who was it? I think was it Kevin Levrone it
Mm-hmm.
was Kevin Levrone who mentioned like backstage after like the Bad Olympia where he got second, and I think it was Dorian who's going up against. They say we've tapped into the UK market, and so he's going to be champ as long as we're, you know what I mean. So it's also business. It's not just subjective. It's not just, you know, I hate using the term politics because I really don't believe in that. I think it's just subjective business. It's
Okay.
business's decision. It's not like I think that he should. Like no one's going to sit here and look at like I hope not at least Sean or Nasser or somebody when Nasser lost and say, you know, I think Dorian's better. Like I hope nobody thought that subjectively because that's just objectively fucking wrong. Even though it's subjectively bodybuilding, like so it's a subjective business decision, right? And that's business. We're
Yeah.
gonna cry about it, and I know myself. I'm the kind of guy that, you know, everybody cuts, everybody bleeds. Like let's make this as fair as possible. Also, there's a guy that's supposed to like fit the shoe, and I'm not saying that that's like justifiable. Matter of fact, I will understand why people don't compete because of that. But I'll also say the most competitive dog and animal doesn't really care about that. And if you are the Sean that you said you were at the start of this, the judge's opinion doesn't matter anyway. Because what did you bring? What Sean wanted to bring. And so that's fucking nonsense, in my opinion. I think that you could really bypass the quote unquote politics with the intention of your delivery. You're going there not to just for at least that, but
Yeah.
it just happens to be that the reward is it's a handsome fucking reward. I think like it's something that it's secondary. It's everything is secondary. The primary thing is your prime you mentioned, right? Bring in the prime physique.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And I guess I just you're right. You're right. Olympia just feels tainted to me.
I agree with you though, because
Yeah.
that's a track record. That's not a matter of opinion. That those things happen. Like, and
Yeah.
it always made me scratch my head because I'm like, what were the judges thinking? Like, how do you do that and like not? I don't know, man. It makes me. I think about it sometimes, but also I think that the times have changed so much, and it's very easy to follow money, you know, and now especially with social media to the point where I don't think that you could really cheap out the fans like you used to back then and get away with that. You can't get away with murder like you did in 81 and 80. You can't do that. That would actually bomb the business. Like they couldn't do it and they wouldn't do it. And
Yeah.
that's why I
Yeah.
don't really believe like in this politics things because like the guys that actually win, they don't look like losers. You know what I mean? Like it makes sense. You know, you can still say there's business back decisions or whatever. Like
Mhm.
you can say
Mhm.
whatever you want genuinely, but the
Mhm.
champions are the champions and they fit. It's not a Dorian Yates type situation ever. It's not an Arnold in 1980 situation ever. Like when have you seen that since? Since
Yeah,
that's
well,
the social media era. You
I
know,
guess that's
even
just like
Bill Heath lost after she should have been going for 8. It would have been a great business decision for them to like give him 8.
yeah,
You know,
right.
but he just didn't deserve it, and they gave him third, not even second.
And I think that's another point as to like I'm glad that you're bringing this up because you're helping me better articulate why I've become disinterested in Olympia goals. So you mentioned Frank Zane and Ronnie Coleman, which is like a perfect example. Me personally, I've always admired Frank Zane's physique, and I understood that it was enhanced. And I've never really admired or aspired to a physique that looks like Ronnie Coleman's ever. I would see Ronnie Coleman in high school and be like, yeah, I get it, I guess. Like as
You're
to
weird, dude. I loved that. I loved it, bro. I loved it. But go on. Go ahead.
again, and like you got to understand, my aspirations are fucking Hollywood. You know, I got Oscars in my future.
Touche.
So, you know, like it's not conducive to my true aspirations. I'm going down in history as like the guy, you
I
know.
know what you. I know what you want.
Arnold
I
ain't
know
got shit on me, that kind of thing, right? So, and I'm dead ass, like dead
I
ass.
believe you. I believe you.
So,
Yeah.
so it's like I would rather look like Frank Zane doing a dope ass dramatic scene, maybe like my shirt's getting ripped off and you're
Yeah.
just seeing cuts and lines, rather than like a Ronnie Coleman physique, which is like
It's congruent with who you are. I
it's
agree. Yeah.
distracting, right? So my whole point is that I like if Frank Zane bursts onto the scene like right now in 2026 and he has this exact same physique that he did in like late 1970s, where would he place on a Mr. Olympia stage? And that's why I really am disinterested in like Mr. Olympia. Like I don't even like I don't like what you guys are presenting to me. I don't like the physiques that are stepping on the Mr. Olympia stage. Those physiques are not physiques that I find desirable. Like, show me the show where Frank Zane wins it, and that's the show that I want to go to.
Yeah, and that's the Ben Leaders, in my opinion. So the whole Olympia thing is just kind of a segue because
Yeah.
I believe 99.9% of natural IFBB pros, well, not 99.9%, like probably 75% of them, granted they compete for at least a decade plus, maybe might not ever get to go to the Olympia. And the going to the Olympia part is really the after the fact. It's like after you've
It's like
reached
an
the
epilogue.
mountain because it's not a natural show anymore. Like you've climbed that, and it's like now get your natural physique on the stage with the best guys in the world that are just the best guys in the world, open
Yeah.
or not.
Yeah.
And so like that applies perfectly from Ben Weeders down at any natural IFBB Pro show. At even damn it, like look at the supernaturals that are, and I'm gonna call them that, going for their first time to attend these natural nationals or just do their first few natural regional shows. That they've got a lot of potential that they just haven't. They're just young or whatever. They're just starting to compete.
Yeah.
And so it's everything under the Ben Weeders is I think what you're talking about, which is what makes it so interesting because it does exist in all the other federations, but I think the IFBB does it the best. And it's not because they're monopolizing. It's like they didn't do shit except open the gate.
Yeah.
It's everyone wants the pro card. It's just similar to like how you were talking about that one card there, that acting, lunch line.
Sag.
SAG. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the, I guess the reward that everybody cares
Yeah.
about. Nobody
Yeah.
wants. Again, the pro card itself, it's the prestige. It's not the pro card. It's the prestige. It's the
Yeah.
I've done this so well to the point that I'm an international federation of bodybuilding professional. The same kind is the ones that I'm inspired by. That's
Right.
all there is. And those guys aren't natural. It doesn't mean anything objectively. It's for me at least. I can speak on my behalf. It's like speak for myself and say it was one of the greatest intrinsic motivators to know that the opportunity to get my pro card naturally, my IFBB pro card naturally existed because first I wanted to have the muscles like the guys that were taking gear. Then I found they're taking gear. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have muscles, but probably not like that. That's whatever. But I'm still gonna go in that direction because I like that going there. Like I love Durrani. I love they're all my favorite. And then the opportunity comes out. It's like, okay, you might not be able to get that muscle, but you can get what they got. Like that's the closest fucking equivalent. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And I know for a fact, especially with all these young kids and their TikTok edits, you see Kevin Levroni edits. I know for a fact whatever disease that I got looking at those guys, they have now, and that's what they want, and that's what they're going for. They're getting one of those pro cards. They want one bad, right? And that's what they're in the game for as a natural. And then when they get to that level, it's literally up every step, every single step, until they become the best, at least what they believe to be the best. Because
Mhm.
if they truthfully believed the other federations were the best, or the other cards were the best, or the other stages were the best, and like that's where they, like that deserved their presence, they would go there. And they were going there until this opportunity came. Now Oscar's coming. You got all the young kids starting at the CPA and NPC events, natural, supernatural kids with all that potential, and I do believe it's just simply because of the coveted prestige. It's like the guys that made you want to do this thing had that thing, and you might not be able to get the muscle they had, but you can get the pro card.
You're right, man. You're 100% right, and I don't think that there's anything to do about it. Personally, I'm excited to. My plan is to like compete all over the place.
Yeah, you made
I'll
it
do
clear.
NPC
I know.
shows. I'll do all the shows
Yeah.
because I don't have an allegiance to NPC IFBB. I do understand why a young person or even like an Oscar would pursue that because that's where the talent pool is going.
Oscar just called you old.
He's older than me. I mean,
I
but
know.
like I definitely get the psychology behind it. But like I'm personally interested in presenting something new, and I think old institutions are corrupt. I think IFBB is corrupt. I think that's just I think the writing's on the wall. I
Okay.
think that they're incentivized for like a business perspective. They're aiming for their bottom dollar. And I don't think that if we put all of our eggs in the basket of IFBB, then we're just going to get the same product over and over and over again. Unless like we actually put ourselves in a position of high levels of authority and influence where we are actually able to restructure IFBB from the inside, which
And
is an
so,
option.
okay, that's an interesting opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, that's an interesting opinion. So I'd say, would you say or would you not say that because you view it as like a corrupt organization that um, it should not be sought after to a degree, like by the athletes?
I think the athletes should do whatever they want, and
Of
I'm
course.
very supportive of an athlete having ambition and goals because it
Okay,
gives you something to focus on.
for sure.
That
Then
being said, yeah, that being said, with the way that what I've seen when you talk about like the history of the Mr. Olympia stage and that being like the biggest bodybuilding event in the world and the way that it's been structured and the way that it's been like kind of curated to create certain moments that are just not as objective as they could have been. It just leaves a bad taste in my mouth when I think of like, oh, this is the thing. This is the thing that we're all going for, and we can clearly see that there's something wrong with it. Like,
okay,
and this is the best example. This is like the best goal that a bodybuilder has, and it's flawed. It's flawed.
okay. So and now we flip the pancake.
Hmm.
We're gonna talk about the vision for the Natty King, the
Absolutely.
production at least, not
Yeah.
just the vision because we can talk about that all day long, but we're talking about like
Sure.
production now,
Yeah. Hmm.
right? You're the guy. I view Olympias. You view Oscars. That's just who you are.
Yes. That's a
Would
good point.
you agree or disagree that Hollywood is as if not more corrupt than the IFBB?
Yeah. I
And
mean,
so,
I haven't. Oh,
you see where I'm going with
hold
this? You see where I'm
on.
going with this?
Me or you?
You go. Go ahead.
Okay.
It's up
Okay.
to you. Yeah.
Um, On a surface level, probably. Yeah, on a surface level, probably. Right now, my focus is on bodybuilding, right? So like
Okay.
I'm paying attention to bodybuilding. Hollywood is like so like I'm doing it in tiers, right? Like right now, greatest of all time, natural bodybuilder, right? That's my current focus. Once that's cemented and that legacy is like, okay, Shaun Fury, he did it, right? Then it's Hollywood. And then I will probably be making the same assessments that I'm making on bodybuilding relative to Hollywood. But right
Into
now,
Hollywood.
like,
Okay. Go
mhm.
on. Sorry. Yeah.
No, that was basically it. And then
Oh.
after Hollywood, I mean, it's corruption everywhere. The whole world's corrupt, right? So it's like bodybuilding, Hollywood, and then it's politics. And I'm aiming to fix all of these different industries so that when the next future generation of humans come, Shaun Fury will have come into the space and help people live better, more virtuous lives.
And you believe that? You're not just telling me this. You believe that?
100%. I'm
Okay.
speaking with like the most certain belief about what it is that I'm going to do while I'm here on this planet.
Okay. And that's like you call that your mission statement. That's your life work. Your life's
100%.
work is that.
Yes.
This is the trajectory of the Arnold method, which is
Health and wellness, arts and entertainment, politics.
okay, which are all corrupt and need fixing, in your opinion. Okay.
Yes.
And so, how do you intend on? Um, because I'll skip the bodybuilding part because as far as IFBB goes, it's like it's developing anyway, and I
Yeah.
think that the way that it's developing, by even incorporating natural bodybuilding, is 10 billion steps in the correct direction.
I
So
agree.
I would let time do its thing, as they've proven continuously that it's just developing and or has the potential to develop in the right direction. Then also, if you look at the open guys too, more people would agree that they do look better on average than the previous champions in terms of, again, like open is open, but it's a lot more pleasing. Since I'll say around like Sean Roden's time, may he rest, and on, you could see that there was like a change, in terms of what they were getting for your champions at the Olympia. After Phil Heath, looking at Sean Roden and on, That's the first time they turned on the aesthetic side of the brain, in my
You
opinion.
think Derek looks good?
Pardon, Sean Roden?
No, Derek.
Look at the waist in comparison to any of the other Olympias pre-Roden, pre-Phil in his peak even. I'm saying that specific. I mean, there's only one guy that made me. He never won the Olympia, but that really like when he
Victor
did it.
Martinez.
Pardon me.
Victor Martinez.
Oh, that's way before. But he was again. That was Victor Martinez, Dexter era, and then still kind of shady because he had your Jay Cutler. But I'm talking about you might not even remember him. But the reason why I'm thinking about him is because of the flip. He was actually on both sides of the coin. Royley Winkler. He had like the bubble gut bonanza. Remember, everyone was talking about that for like years and years. Like, oh, whatever. Like, this guy's got suspended. There was one year, one show, I forgot what he did, bro. But he came in and he fucking fixed it. Like, his waist was uniform. It actually looked more like what Derek's was. And it was just that one show he did. And it really changed the game. Like, it showed that when you get that guy, even though he looked like before, he had the bubble gut and all that, when you just remove that component, well, he had massive arms, massive delts, massive chest, massive like everything. It's so much more pleasing to the eye. And I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm a Derek fan. Like in terms of his physique, no, I wouldn't want to look like him. But I do think it does look a lot better than Jay on his worst day and still winning. Dorian on his worst day and still winning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess.
It's that, and it's not a leap. It's not like a huge margin at all. No, but it's a small enough margin to give me proof that the Open is moving in the direction that I think most people would like to see it. And then also, looking at the decisions that they're making with classic physique and who's being moved in what places in terms of like the Olympia, like no one's really disagreeing. Like it's super, everything's subjective. But for the first time ever, I think that the average bodybuilding consumer can go and sit into that, buy a ticket, sit down, and actually have like a proper guess on like who might win, and not even just win, but place top 5 and be accurate to like maybe off by like a person or two. And there's which shows me like a level of congruency with a level of objectivity. And now when we look at the natural side of it all, the fact that the natural shows even exist and that they're growing is another check mark. So I'm looking at check mark. So I'm not looking to reinvent the wheel. They seem to be knowing what they're doing. It's coming under younger hands now. Like Jim Mannion's handing it down to Tyler, right? And then Tyler's he's young. Like he sees what everybody else wants to see, and so it's like not harder for him. I don't think it would be harder for him to do what's necessary in order to like appease to the market in the way that it needs to be, right? So that's for the IFBB. Now, I want to talk to you about like your Hollywood side, because of course this is like jumping the gun. Of course, like we're really jumping the gun here. Like we have to get the bodybuilding thing down packed first, and then like I understand the ladder you're bringing up, but I would like to know, because that's such a massive. It would be your life's work. Like of course, it's something massive. How would you even do that? Where would you even start? Would it be like casting control? What would it even be? Like how?
Yeah, absolutely. To quote Joseph, who just left a comment, which I'm in agreement with, I'd imagine the Hollywood and politics will most likely run along the same timelines as the bodybuilding, as far as the time frame it's going to take to reach all of those goals. Because greatest natural bodybuilder of all time, that's going to take like 10 years. Then to cement myself as king of Hollywood, that's going to take a large amount of time. And then to actually immerse myself in the world of politics and make an impact there, that's going to be from wherever I get to my deathbed. Like I'll be doing that for decades and decades. So like, where do we even start? Storytelling. Just telling great stories. And personally, I feel like my deficiencies when it comes to telling a great story, I can get the structure and the thematic moments of a story and how to like lead people through that narrative structure. I can do that pretty well. But when it comes to really executing on a visual, like so far as visual storytelling, that needs a lot of work. So that's something I'm aiming to prioritize just between now and like very similar to what Joseph says. This is something I'm practicing currently. So to answer your question, I'm not waiting to cement myself as like, oh, Shaun Fury's the GOAT of bodybuilding before I start refining my skills as a filmmaker and storyteller. I'm working on those skills now so that by the time I do cement myself as like, oh, Shaun Fury? Oh, I know Shaun Fury. He's the greatest natural bodybuilder of all time. Oh, really? You think he's the greatest? What about Matt Butale? Like they can have those arguments years down the line. I don't care. But by the time those arguments are being made, I will have already adapted my skill set so far as filmmaking. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we would, because as much as so you have, I'm the inverse of you, and I think the other way around. And I was telling my dad this. I had a conversation with him recently. I was saying, it's so funny. I'm a babysitter when I was young. I was eating spaghetti off like on the floor. We're sitting down and we're watching some fucking, I don't even know what we're watching, something. But sometimes I was obsessed with the Hulk movie. You know, Eric Bana. You know, I think I told you I love that movie. I would watch on the cassette 2 to 3 times a day. It's about 6 hours of just Hulk, dude, after school, like straight up. And I just remember the feeling I would get off of like cinema, bro, like, and or going to the movie theaters. It was a stupid movie, like Penguins, like just the fact that it was Happy Feet, right? Watching the, like, just being like, wow, like someone can make something that's like, this is so cool. Like I know that I want to do something like that when I grow up. I don't know what I want to do, but I know that that's one of the things. So my babysitter would ask me. She asked me when I was eating spaghetti. She's like, Matt, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said I didn't know the difference between uh, masculine and feminine. So I was like, I want to be an actress when I grow up. She said a lot of it. She's like, you mean an actor, right? I'm like, no, I want to be an actress because I didn't know, right? So no, the actress for boys. So I said, oh yeah, I want to do that. I want to be an actor, and it's always been on my list. It's always been in my journal. It's always been. I always wanted to be a Super Saiyan. I always wanted to be the Incredible Hulk, and I always wanted to be an actor. And so the Super Saiyan part, I think I got that checked off when I got my pro card. The Hulk when I won the pro show. And the actor thing is like you knocked on my door. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh wow, this guy's got a passion for the bodybuilding thing that I love, and just so happens to be a fiend about acting, right? So again, I see myself, and I'm not jumping the gun here at all because I do believe that I'm in here forever. Like I do believe that eventually, God willing, when I do get into acting, I don't think I will abandon natural bodybuilding because again, bodybuilding in the open is so demanding to the point where I do believe it hinders your, and you might, I think you agree with this, hinders your ability to be cast properly because you're so overly big. Whereas for natural bodybuilding, it just takes, honestly, get me into stage conditioning and I'm actually like the leanest thing you've ever seen and I'm not too big, but you know, I'm not too small and it's like, it's natural, right? So it fits. And
Well,
so, you go on.
yeah,
Go ahead.
I will say, well, I'm going to say two things. For one, I'm glad that we connected. I think that's super cool. And the second thing I was going to say is that I do want you to be mindful that a physique like yours and a physique like mine does restrict our options when it comes to
Is it
roles in
that?
Hollywood.
Is it, well, what is restricted and what is open? Because I would assume action stuff open doors, but what's restricted behind that? Like, give me some examples.
Um, let's say, let's see. Uh, Well, I think it's more fun to think about what's available. than so
Yeah, okay.
so I'll
Because I
tell
don't
you
give
like
a shit about being in 50 Shades of Grey. I'm not gonna be crying on TV. I want to blow shit up. At
right,
least that's
right.
my
Yeah.
thing. But you know, maybe I want some range. Like who knows? I
So
don't know.
you've got that access. You've got that access. But
Yeah.
basically it's like, are we going to believe you at like how much do you weigh right now?
How much do I weigh? About
Yeah.
194.2.
Really?
Yeah.
You look way bigger. You look like 230. But
Well,
all
we're
right,
cutting. We're cutting. We're on the way down. The biggest I
okay.
ever got was like 220, and you'd see it on
Okay.
my face. But I'm
Okay.
not mentioning anything because, guys, we're X weeks out.
Okay. Okay. So I'm saying like, okay, you're walking around like Luke Cage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So like you would be we would have to train casting directors to not think of you as like a Luke Cage type of role. And when working with someone like me, it's like I'm able to think outside of the box and go like, okay, you could be a drug addict, but maybe you're no longer addicted to drugs. Maybe working out, maybe training, maybe resistance training is now your new drug. So you still got the personality and the habits of like being like an addictive drug using person, but
Okay.
those personality traits are now attached
Yeah,
to what
yeah.
you do in the gym.
It's transferable skill essentially. Yeah, I'll
Exactly.
see where that fits. Yeah, I mean that and comedy, those things really made me
Mm.
feel good. I just want to do what I like, not what I like, but what made me feel good. Like what made me want to act is what I would like to act as. You know what I mean? Like it would be something like that along those lines. But I want to ask you, would you ever do another open show again?
100%.
And why that over a natural show if you had to pick?
If I had to pick, um, wow, I'm really non-discriminatory when it comes to bodybuilding shows. personally, I had such a great time this past weekend, and I'm just like, it was like pre-show, pre this weekend, and post-show. It's like a night and day difference so far as my mentality. Where before I felt like I was pretending at all of this stuff. It felt like I was pretending to be a bodybuilder, like I was pretending to claim to be the greatest of all time. And now afterwards, it's just full immersion where I feel less of an incentive to talk about what's going to happen and more so just like,
I
no, I
respect
am
that, by the
on.
way.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But like now I just feel like I'm on a trajectory of the self-fulfilling prophecy that I declared prior to those shows. And it's hard to like really discriminate between a tested or a non-tested show because I'm aiming to just cement my physique. I want to reveal the physique of the greatest of all time because that's how I see myself. And it's like I just want those opportunities to step on stage and showcase it,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, totally. No, I see that. I see that, bro. Crystal clear. Um, so, if you were to be presented, okay, first of all, I know you're not, you don't care. You don't really mind which federation you end up in, or I don't even want to say end up in because I do believe you're the type of guy that would become an OCD pro and then just compete in something else, you know? So,
Oh yeah, 100%.
if and or when you decide to pursue a natural IFBB pro card, which will be the hardest thing you do, I'll tell you that. Would you actually relinquish it?
Absolutely.
And so you'd be doing the challenge just for the challenge, and you understand that getting the natural IFBB pro card would be opening the gate to having the most potential to being crowned, in my opinion, as the king, in the sense of you're in the biggest pool with the biggest supernaturals.
Yeah.
So why would you opt out of that?
Um, I'm more attached to narrative
I mean, as the
storytelling.
Natty King, for the
Mhm.
collective to agree with you to be the Natty King,
Mhm.
not look at even the Super Natty King, if I want
Yeah.
to nickname it that, right? Why
Mhm.
would you opt out of the opportunity?
Yeah, man, you ask a good question. Honestly, to give you the best answer, which might not sound that logical, but I don't really see I don't really see it happening on an IFBB stage. I just don't see it. Like, and again,
What is
it's
it though?
the moment,
The moment of
the moment, like the defining moment of at least my career so far as bodybuilding. I don't
okay.
see it happening on on an IFBB
I
stage.
mean, I would agree. I would say that that for you would be fucking getting an Oscars, right? But that is it's because that is a bodybuilding would have been the seed for that though, right? And then it grew into you became this guy who did the bodybuilding thing, and now
Yeah,
has this. You're in this position now where you're acting, right?
yeah,
So I think that your it isn't going to be on a bodybuilding stage, let alone the IFBB stage. It's not going to
yeah,
be on stage. You know,
yeah,
it's going to be probably behind a camera or on a piece of paper. You know, when
yeah,
you make that creative work.
yeah,
But if we're looking at the objective, this is the Natty King. When we look at, you know, as
yeah,
you said perfectly before, Damien or Matt or Sean, like who's objectively the Natty King?
yeah,
Objectively, void
yeah,
of the vision, outside of the media meta. Like,
yeah.
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You're
I
you
do. I
opt
do
out
get
of
what you're
it.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right. So it's like we'll play this hypothetical out, right? So you're already an IFBB pro. I'm developing my physique over the course of however long it takes to have a physique that's comparable to yours, right? You got Demain Dawson, who competes as classic physique in OCB. He's the two-time Yorton Cup champion, right? He's even flirted with the concept of switching over to NPC
I
because
do
that's what.
believe. Go on. Yeah.
No, what were you gonna say?
No, I can't drop any eggs. But it's you know.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
so he's even flirting with the idea of getting his pro card
Yeah.
because it's just attractive. It's like the prestige and like everyone's doing it and stuff like that,
That's where
right?
the supernaturals go, buddy.
Yes. So from that perspective, in a hypothetical scenario where it's like you've got an IFBB pro card, let's say Domain gets an IFBB pro card, let's say Oscar gets an IFBB pro card, that's where the party's going. I don't like that because it's like I hate monopolies. Like I'm an underdog guy.
What is a monopoly for a king? Genuinely, it is a monopoly. Everything under that, you become the pinnacle. You are the food chain at that, like the top of the food chain at that point. And for that not
Mhm.
to exist means there's no monopoly. And if there's no monopoly, then everyone's the best or everyone's shit. And
Mm-hmm.
so someone's gonna have to pick. And if I'm doing the picking, I'm picking the veteran difficulty. I'm picking the one that I don't have to talk. Just like how now you're competing with your trunks, you don't have to talk about it. You just
Yeah.
post the picture, right?
Yeah.
And that would be the equivalent. The IFBB. It's like I don't have to talk about it. I won the Ben Weider.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's the equivalent. And again,
Yeah.
outside the media meta, right?
Yeah.
So, but then again, like that's we're flirting with that idea heavily.
See, I'm the type of guy where it's like what you're saying makes logical sense, but what I also don't want to do is I don't want to like get an IFBB Pro card at some point in the future and then like only compete in that federation because
No,
it.
let it be the last thing you do. If you want to really do this and like really do this and like
Mhm.
you're not talking about it and you're just gonna do this, what I
Yeah.
would say is again, your heart's nowhere in terms of commitment or dedication with the
Yeah.
federation. I would view this as rankings. However you want to rank them, no disrespect to any other federation. Get this pro card, get that pro card, win this show, win that show. Let the Ben Weeders be the final stop because that's where the supernaturals exist. And then it's even we'll say this. It's not even that you go to the IFBB now and you perform well, and you don't go and compete in the other federations. Like you would have already graduated that mentally. The
Mm,
next step after that wouldn't be the Olympia for you because that's not where your heart is. It would
yeah.
be the studio and
I
then
see what you're
the
saying.
office, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let that be your end credits, right?
So
That's really where the crown. I really believe my heart is given, man.
So you're saying like stop looking at the IFBB as like some like corrupt institution that is like dirtying up the pool and like attracting all of the top
It's
talent.
not. It's doing everything right, more than it ever has in the near 100 years since inception, right? Like it's only getting better. Number one, number two.
Right.
It's not my opinion that
Yeah.
everybody loves it. It's not
Yeah.
my opinion that it holds the most prestige and the
Yeah.
pedigree. Like
Yeah.
it's you truly feel like a professional. In my opinion, I can speak for
Yeah.
myself. You
Yeah.
truly feel like a professional when you achieve that, and then
Right.
achieving it is the one thing, but climbing up the ranks of it, I've never seen. I'll say this, and maybe you can agree or disagree with me. I only know one person who's ever earned an IFBB Pro card and relinquished it for another division or federation.
Babacar.
Every single,
Babacar.
I know two people now,
Okay.
right? I'm not naming them, but you named one of them, right? Every single that's like out of all the natural IFBB pros ever, there's literally only two, those two. And someone come here and correct me if I'm mistaken. If you watch this maybe 3 years down the line, 8 months, I don't care. Come correct me. I would love to be corrected, but that would add like a person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Compared to everybody that's earned their natural IFBB Pro card and stayed there. But what I have seen is an OCB guy, a WMBF guy, an IMBP, whatever the fuck, join the IFBB. I've seen that in droves. It's not the
Mm-hmm.
one guy. It's all of them are doing it. Shout out to you,
Yeah.
Oscar. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just what it is. And if we look at it like that and you treat it as in like, okay, middle school, high school, college, university, PhD is the IFBB, buddy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got a PhD in fucking bodybuilding if you got that shit. You feel me?
Yeah.
And then to go to the top of that, it's like you don't go backwards. You let that graduate you from bodybuilding. Just like Arnold did. He had his IFBB Pro card or whatever. Well, there were new Pro cards back then, but he won the Olympia X amount of times and then graduated. Chris Bumstead won the Olympia several amount of times and then graduated. Ronnie Coleman 8 times and graduated to business, right? It's
Yeah.
like the thing. That's
Yeah.
the one. And you never, ever, ever go back and say, yeah, I used to be a WNBF Pro and OCB Pro and that. And then an IFBB Pro. It's like IFBB wipes everything out. That's what I am, what I was, and what I will be or what I used to be. But
Yeah.
that's your PhD. You feel me?
I do 100% get what you're saying, and I suppose that like I
And
think I
I'm
need.
biased, by the way. For anybody that's listening, if you can't tell already, I'm biased. Go.
Yeah, no, you're right. And just from a person who is just purely enthusiastic about the sport,
And
for one,
competition. Like, you
huh?
really are a competitive dude. Like, I
Yeah,
know
I am.
that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
very
go
true.
on.
That's very true. And you're right. I mean, I think just from that aspect alone, that would be like the only motivating factor is that the talent pool is deepest in IFBB. Like that would really be it. But philosophically, I don't agree with the values and the intentions, the structure of the IFBB
I
as
can
an
appreciate
institution.
that. And I
Yeah,
mean, you're creative, so I can
yeah,
really appreciate that.
yeah.
As a creative, yeah.
Yeah.
I can appreciate your stance on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just think that when I and again, I wasn't there, and I don't know, there's just so many stories of, like, take Sean Ray coming in second to Dorian Yates multiple times. It's like, this is what they're choosing to prioritize. They made a choice that Dorian Yates' physique, I mean, it's like, that whole saying of bodybuilding, apples and oranges,
Yeah.
right? So they made a choice. Dorian Yates is going to be the 6-time Mr. Olympia champion, regardless as to whether or not he's showing up with an injury. Whatever he's bringing to the stage, we want him to represent as the face of bodybuilding and IFBB. And they've never apologized for that. And I don't forgive them.
They would have apologized to nobody because there's nobody to apologize to, maybe other than like Sean, Nasser, and even those guys. It's like, what are you apologizing for? Because ultimately, if we're looking at bodybuilding, I hate to say this, man, it's a muscle pageant
Yeah.
and it's a business.
Yeah.
What are we crying about? Like, especially, I'm gonna go on a tangent here. Actually, what makes me kind of laugh sometimes, like really, like when I turn off my phone at night, I laugh. Sometimes I really laugh, a real belly laugh. So sometimes I see like the bodybuilders that are preparing for a show and they're like, you know what I mean, like fucking, murder. Like, don't get it twisted. There's some posts you might look at that I've posted that look like that, but I'm really just intense in the gym. I'm not like
Yeah.
dark. I'm
Yeah.
just, I'll show my art. I'll write poetry. I'll, like, you know what I mean. But when you're all like, oh, I'm gonna, so pissed and locked in and
Yeah.
you know fucking whatever they say, and then you go on stage in like underwear and get oiled up, bro. It's like, you're not, like, I used to do wrestling, right? Like, if you did boxing or anything, like, you got your ass kicked if you lost. You actually got beat up. You lost because everybody watched you get beat up or pinned, and then they scored on you and you lost. Objectively, you suck, right? What are you guys all upset about? You're mad about opinions that haven't been formulated yet. Like, and I'm just looking at that. The reason why I brought up that tangent is I guess I lost my train of thought, but the weight of the judges' opinions, the reality of the business, has never been so important to the point of like frustrating me as a competitor. Like,
Sure.
I could get shafted 100 shows straight. I'm still
Yeah.
gonna compete. I'm
Yeah.
a competitive guy.
Yeah.
And it's, you can say the cute thing to say is like, oh, I brought my best and I'm just beating my old best me.
Yeah.
No, there's a part of me that wants to beat you. Like, there have been guys that I've competed with that have, competed against that, and you've done this, but you actually went to the open show. But I've competed against guys that have taken compounds, right? And I knew that, and I still wanted to really beat them, and I did that, and that really made me feel. That's why I'm a competitor. Like, when I used to wrestle, like, it's about the fight, genuinely about the fight. Fuck the outcome. You can think you're gonna win. They can think you're gonna win, but who actually wins is who actually wins, whether they deserve it or not. And now, when you add muscle pageant to business, what are we really upset about? Like,
Mm.
when you sign,
Mm.
first of all, you sign the waiver, okay? You look at the waiver, you sign it, and you're like, okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm a professional. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna present. You're presenting. You're not fighting. You're not scoring. You're not, like, you're presenting, right? You're presenting and you're representing a business. And you do that on their stage and when you're off the stage. Like, hopefully you're a good person, whatever it is. So and think of like even acting, right? It's a business. This is like the least amount of sport as possible, you know? So when people get their opinions ruffled up about Dorian this, Dorian that, yeah, objectively correct. It's a business. The fuck are you mad about? Like, and I know it's just because I'm a competitor, so I can say that and mean it. Because like
Yeah.
it's probably gonna happen to me if it hasn't already, right?
Yeah.
And if I happen to be the guy that I'm Dorian Yates and I'm shafting people, like, I will still maintain the same frame. It's a fucking business. So what we're here to do is to present, perform, drive numbers, fill seats. Why are you making a movie? So only you can watch it? No, the box office has to rate you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a fucking business. Like, you could have spent all that time working on this movie, building this craft, and it could be fucking amazing. It could be deserving of 1 billion in the office. Rotten Tomatoes says it's 1%. Box office crashes. You put your life's work into that. Tough. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, just quit now? And I know it's so cliche. It's kind of, this is annoying, but really, if you can just remain competitive, I think this is what makes successful bodybuilders. If you can remain competitive, regardless of the outcome, and not because you're numb to it, but because you understand that this is a business, it only allows you to have that more freedom to do what you want to do when you got that pro card, which is to present. That's all you're
Mm-hmm.
here to do. And then build your
Mm-hmm.
own brand. You don't need them to tell you they're the champion for you to go open up a business. You don't need for them to give you the Mr. Olympia. Like, that's why I rate well, technically Dexter did get his Olympia, but Dexter Jackson, like he got his one Olympia, but even before then, like he was finding ways, like the sponsorships were taking care of people a lot better back then. But like that just shows you, it's like it's business. Like you can have these guys, I love Kevin Levrone, man. When they kept shafting him from his Olympias, what did he do? Oh, it's a business. Oh, so Jim, is that why I can't be Mr. Olympia? Because Dorian, you need the UK market. Cool. You know what I'm gonna do? The fucking tour and make hella bread, more than he could have ever made with the one Olympia, because he understood it was a business. It's not a sport. It's not like I'm gonna shoot a 3 point and you're not gonna count it even though it went in. It's not that. That's not what this is. And I think people getting that conflated often screws with their perception of the federations and just the ideal, like what bodybuilding is, and it hurts. It's what makes Arnold's betrayal and Franco's screw job or whatever look so magnificent and like, oh my god, I can't believe. But genuinely, they understood the mechanics of it all. Like you can't knock it, even though it stinks. It's like Dorian Yates still got the six, and he's out here motivating the youth today, talking about how he's not going to talk about how he's still going to say he deserved all those six. It's like it's so subjective to the point where like the moment you start to really bleed objectivity into this and treat it more like a sport than it actually is a business, then I think you've lost the plot. What do you think?
Dude, when are you getting into politics, man?
Right behind you, bro. I'll be your vice president.
Wow, that's
I'll be there.
amazing.
I'll be
That's
there.
amazing. No, I think you said some things that I'll be reflecting on for sometimes it takes because I'm pretty stubborn. I don't know if you know this about me. But I'm pretty stubborn and sometimes it takes me months, sometimes it takes me even years for like a conversation like this to like finally click and like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, he's right.
No, and dude, I'm really just bridging the gap here, brother. Because tell me what the difference is, honestly, with Hollywood and this. To a degree, I mean, it's more like bodybuilding is closer to Hollywood than it would ever be closer to basketball, football, baseball, any other objective sport. Genuinely, like the market moves the sport more than the sport actually moves the market in this sense,
Yeah.
And it's opinion driven, but it's more dollars, you know.
Well, I mean, I see a silver lining here, and perhaps since like you're offering such great perspective, perhaps you can help me with this idea of okay, let's say hypothetical, I want to be a WWE superstar, right? And as I get ready to like become a WWE superstar, I learn about uh, the WWE universe or like the business. Vince McMahon is like doing really shady things behind closed doors. He's like a predator. He's doing all this terrible stuff, and
Yeah.
it trickles down. It trickles down, like
Yeah. Yes.
you know. And then I
Big.
start thinking like, well, my dream is to be a WWE superstar, but this business and the way that it's run, I don't agree with the core values. I don't agree with like the ethics and the virtues and the morals behind the people who are running the ship. So why would I want to bring my star power and promote their product?
Well, you got to look at it this way. The fact that you are even looking at them proves that there is some kind of disconnect, being that you're looking up. You want to be a WWE star, right? In this hypothetical, you want that. It means if you want better for your life, that means that must be better than where you are. And so if you want that, you're going to work towards that. How dare I say, I don't want to represent what I want? First of all, they don't need you. So fuck off, first of all. Then second of all, should you want that, you pursue it. But with Shaun's mentality, what are you gonna do? You're gonna pull a triple fucking H. You're gonna get your foot in the door. You're gonna be this shit gimmick, that shit gimmick, and then fuck the owner's daughter and own the whole thing. If that's what you want to do. Shout out Triple H. If you hear me, I love you, dog. Paul, no, he's like genuinely like one of the goats. I study him, but like he's actually cool. I was watching the documentary last night. It was the evolution documentary. Then Batista's story. Batista's so pure, bro. Like
Yeah.
He's the animal, but he's so pure, bro. Like
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
watch it again. I think after this,
Yeah.
but just to study it. But that's Triple H, man. Like Triple H had the shit gimmick, whatever, and then like, I don't know if you want to call it favoritism or he performed well, but not as well as everybody else.
He
Like
was
that was really
focused.
on those cards, right?
He was focused.
He found a way to get himself in the rooms that he needed to be in until he got to the top. Rest in peace, China. Remember China? Like he was even there with the DX thing, and then Shawn Michaels was really the guy. He positioned himself with Shawn
But
Michaels,
he was a drinker.
right?
Yeah.
Pardon me?
He was a drinker. He's a partier. He wasn't about it in the same way that Paul Levesque was.
Exactly. And Paul capitalized on that. And I'm sure there were like hella like locker room chats about, like, oh, Paul doesn't deserve this, he doesn't deserve that. But he's like having dinner with the McMahons now. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's not playing the same game you guys are playing. He's
Yeah.
not trying to be the best fucking wrestler in the game.
Yeah.
He's genuinely getting his foot. I want to be WWE star. Okay, cool. I might not be the best. I might not be the fastest. I might not be the most handsome. I might not have the most charisma, star power even. However, once I get my foot in the door, I know how I'm gonna walk. And where am I going to go? I want to find the door that's going to open up those opportunities. And that just happens to be leveraging positions with Ric Flair, leveraging positions with Shawn Michaels, leveraging positions, whatever he has to do to climb up those ladders to get up to dating Stephanie McMahon and then, getting Vince to do all the dirty work or whatever, or vice versa,
Yeah.
to the point where when Vince no longer has the company, he does. That's the
Yeah.
takeover. That's a
Yeah.
30-year-long fucking chess game
Sure.
that nobody was playing.
Right.
I believe me, nobody. And he created stars in that midst too. He didn't just selfishly get himself to the top. He made Batista with the Evolution. He made Randy Orton with Evolution. At least when they catapulted off of, right? And then several other stars.
Yeah.
So it's like that's the perspective that I would have for anything that I would want. And if I didn't really want to, if I felt like bad about or not bad, but I felt like, oh, they don't value my star power, or I might not think that I'm equipped to deal with what might be well presented or what might represent the brand well. Like, let's say I was a shit Natural IFBB Pro. What I would do is not focus on competing as much as the guy who's actually great at being a Natural IFBB Pro. I would still compete, but my intention would be slightly different in the sense of it would be more administrative than subjective in the sense of going out to compete, because I understand this is a business. So what would I do? I would find myself as a Natural IFBB Pro going to all the natural amateur shows and shaking all the hands and inspiring all the youth so they know the first Natural IFBB Pro they saw was me. And then when they compete and I'm given awards now years down the line, I'm the one ushering people in or whatever I could do to be the guy that's more administrative than competitive.
Yeah.
Right? There's a different way to play every single game.
Yeah.
Every single game. It's multiple characters, multiple players, and
you know what it is?
Not pretty. There's so much leverage that you know what I mean. Like you'll lose a lot of friends and stuff. But do you want to win or do you want to like?
No, I get what you're saying, and you're actually helping me arrive at like the true crux of this thing is I don't want to work for people, and like you're really hitting the nail on the head. It is a business, and I don't want to work for them. You know, I don't want to work for them. I don't like their leadership. You know, like I'm just being honest. So that might be where the talent goes, and maybe I'll get an IFBB Pro card to compete against people like you for fun, you know. But I don't want to be told like, oh, do this for the business. No, fuck you. I'll make my own business, you know. And
I mean, it's the last time I checked, I've been working for myself for about 6 years, 7 years, right? Did my coaching business in that, and this has been one of the great tools to help leverage towards that. You know, being a Natural IFBB Pro, like who's gonna tell me anything? Forget telling me. I know I have the knowledge, but when you see me, forget my physique. There's fucking proof that this guy's like, you're doing shit. This is my PhD per se, right?
Yeah.
And so, would you say that a doctor who has a PhD is working for, like, well, okay, if you're working for a hospital, you're working for a hospital, but an independent practitioner who works private, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't work for anybody.
You're right.
Every IFBB Pro is an independent.
Okay. All right. Here's my point, Matt. Here's my point. So they did, I think it was 2025. They did the Olympia documentary, right?
Yes.
And they covered the 2024 Mr. Olympia event, right? And they've got Chris Bumstead winning, and I think it was Derek. Who knows, right? So they take you through the documentary of like the pre-production and like how the Olympia is like the biggest bodybuilding event in like the whole world, and it's like a 90-minute documentary, and not once do they mention steroid usage. That is my issue with IFBB and Mr. Olympia, is that yes, it is a business, and they're omitting and they're molding and they're shaping things to create this perception that it's not what it is. And I have an issue with that. And I can't put my eggs or like put my allegiance with a federation or a company or a business that does not lead with transparency,
Then you don't
because
want to
that's
go to
not how I want
Hollywood.
to run the world.
Then you don't want to go to Hollywood. They didn't
I
talk
want
about
to take
Chris
over
Hemsworth.
Hollywood.
Chris Hemsworth, all those guys. I
Uh-huh.
mean, no movie ever puts disclaimers. Forget the gear, right? Like CGI stuff, even it would be irrelevant to talk about like CGI and this scene and that scene and like this is real, that's not real. Because
That's
you're
what the
going there for
credits are
the
for.
art. You're going there for the art. You're not going there for the truth. Because the people that really spend their money to sit down and watch those shows know the truth, but the truth isn't even enough to deter them from it. So fuck's the point of knowing it? They know it already. They know the truth. They know that Chris Bumstead's not natural. They know, like, it's redundant to say that the Hulk didn't actually jump 12,000 feet. It was CGI. That's redundant. We know that already. We're here for the fucking art, you know. And so, like, looking at things with that lens, with that perspective, as you're looking through it, it's just detrimental because you can look at anything that way, like everything that way. Everything. Oh, I shouldn't measure this meal now because of that, right? Like everything can be perceived that way, and I don't believe it should because then you're not there for what it's actually for. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm
Wow.
sorry to be the guy that's devil's advocate all the time, but like I
Yeah.
really want you to bridge the gap mentally and like get on my side here with understanding that like it's really all in your perception. It's really
Yeah.
all in your perception, man. Like it's everything is in your head. Not talking about steroids means nothing. You know already. They know, and even if you put disclaimers every 30 seconds, people are still gonna watch through those 30 seconds to see Chris Bumstead because that's why they're there. It never mattered. It just didn't. It's bodybuilding. It's entertainment. It's business. You know.
Wow. 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 I think I needed to have this conversation.
We both did. We both did. But you know what? We are approaching about 1 hour and 22 minutes, and I want to keep it condensed to that
Yeah.
because you and I we can talk forever. So,
Yeah.
are there any like last words, last thoughts you have before we wrap it up here?
I need to process the last 30 minutes of this conversation.
Don't worry,
Um,
we'll be up. You can replay it all day long. We'll be up
yeah.
very shortly after this.
I'm doing supplemental muscles today. I'm doing like abs and calves. So like I'll have some shit to think about while
Oh
I'm
yeah.
doing those
Oh yeah.
sets.
Hopefully, well, I'll chop it up, and hopefully, you know, I'll be able to have this up on the Spotify and the Apple Podcast before you get to that workout because this is
Nice.
great, I think.
Yeah.
But for you guys that don't know where to find Sean, where can we find you?
Oh, I'm at Shaun Fury, at SHAUN Fury on all socials. I'm still processing everything that's just been said. You
It's all
blew my
good.
mind.
It's all good. We'll do this
Yeah.
again. Don't worry. It's
Yeah.
not the last time. Definitely not the first time. I know that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's it. That's all. If you like this episode, share it out with a friend. Do not forget to like, share, and comment this podcast. Leave a review to show your support. It'll really go a long way. I wouldn't be able to do this without you, and if you weren't listening, I don't know who would be. I hope I was able to deliver a valuable experience to you guys and girls today. Thank you so much for your precious time and attention. You already know what time it is. IFBB Pro Matt Butale signing out. Peace.
Wow.